Hello, everybody. It's me, Fee, White Zulu, and I want to welcome you to another chapter of, another chapter of Okavango Diary. And I hope you're enjoying these readings. I want to welcome you all. And if you are enjoying them, please share or press the like button or whatever people do if they want to. I'm sorry, I'm a bit car today. I haven't got any words in front of me to read, so I'm doing this off the cuff. However, this is a greeting to you all and a welcome, and I hope that you enjoy these chapters that I'm reading out. They go out twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays, if all goes well. And enjoy them, and thank you so much for listening to them. Share them around. Thank you and goodbye. Tsaro Diary, Sunday, 1st of July. The plane suddenly circled and dived towards a bare patch of sand. "This is your stop," said Martin succinctly, and on closer inspection, I saw a bakkie waiting. We bounced in and skidded to a halt, with only feet to spare in front of a cluster of trees. A middle-aged and slightly portly man strolled towards the plane and handed the pilot a mailbox. "I'm Fred," he introduced himself. "I'm the relief manager here." And with that, I grabbed my bag and followed him to the bakkie. I chatted excitedly as I saw various animals and birds I recognized from all the time I'd spent in game reserves all my life. Fred was impassive as he drove along a track meandering through the bush until we pulled up to the entrance of Tsaro camp, which had originally been a hunting camp and had 8 thatched rondavels as guest accommodation. There was a very attractive thatched main building, which consisted of a small office and a long bar and sitting area, all exposed to expansive views of the bush and overlooking a long, wide, and closely cropped green lawn, which swept down to the Kwai River, where a big pod of hippos lay, semi-submerged or basking on the bank. The big dining area with a long table that could seat 20 people was on a raised platform, sheltered by a thatched roof, open both front and back, and overlooking a waterhole which had spotlights shone on it at night. In the area between the dining room and the seating area was a square of grass, which had a sparkling blue swimming pool with sun lounges arranged around it. Behind the scenes was my domain, a big kitchen and 2 separate outbuildings, one full of deep freezers and fridges, and the other set aside for dry goods. Both were firmly padlocked, I noticed. "We have no guests in at the moment," explained Fred, "but if you don't mind, we've just received our month's supply of food and drink off the lorry, and it needs to be itemized and then locked away." I was happy to oblige, and we tackled the mountains of boxes and packages, counting each tin package or carton by its weight in grams. Once it had been ticked off, it was put away on the shelves or into the fridges and freezers, the new fresh items at the back or the bottom, so as to rotate the stock. Mark, our host, part Belgian and part South African, who was the third member of our three-person white team, arrived from his afternoon sleep to take over the beverages, which included all the liquor and needed to be ticked off and put away in the bar. He was in his early 30s and as chatty as Fred hadn't been, and quite delightful. It was hard work, but I enjoyed doing it because it was a quick and easy way of learning where everything was. Fred then took me into the kitchen where all the staff were lined up and introduced me. These were from the local River Bushman tribe, which lived in the village quite close by, and a few of them had a smattering of English. Regrettably, I have no Tswana at all, and unlike Xhosa, there's not a single word in that language which resembles Zulu. I felt odd speaking English to these Africans, but there was no other choice. So, with smiles and nods and pointing, we had a look at all the menus for the week. The whole system had been designed to repeat itself every week, as no guest ever stayed longer than 3 days, and 5 days at the very maximum of either camp. Since there were no guests to feed on that or the next day, just the three of us, Fred had decided we would have fish and chips, a bit of homesickness from England, where he came from. I was shown to my quarters, which were set aside for the permanent manager and his wife, who were on leave for a month. It was a very basic hut, right at the furthest end of the camp, along a narrow path through shrubberies to hide its ugliness. It backed onto the garage and workshop. After dropping my bag onto the bed, I reported back to the main building to find Fred and Mark sitting comfortably at the bar, having a drink and watching hippos climb out of the Kwai River. About 100 yards away down the lawn and beginning to graze in the cooling evening air, there was a small herd of lechwe, a smallish antelope, larger than the impala and related to the rietbuck family, with a slightly shaggy bright chestnut coat and white underparts and slender lyrate horns, also grazed peacefully. That's why the lawns are so well mowed, explained Fred. Those hippos will crop the grass right down to Bowling Green standards. But on the other hand, when you go to bed, you'd better watch out for them, as they do wander through the camp and can charge you. I do hope you've brought a good strong torch. I hadn't, just a weak little twin-cell plastic one. But he offered to lend me one until I could order a proper magnite from Maun. After supper, one of the male guides escorted me back to my quarters. There was no lock on the door, but I closed it firmly with a bolt, noticing that all the sand around my hut had been carefully raked flat. As I flopped exhausted, onto my bed and kicked my sandals off. The overhead light bulb flickered and died. Fred had turned the generator off, and so I lit a candle to get undressed, wash, and fall asleep, having set my alarm clock for 6:45 the next morning. The next thing I sat bolt upright as a lion roared from what was, I felt, just outside my door. My fillings actually rattled, and my rib cage vibrated as roar after roar filled the pitch black night. I was so tired that I actually fell asleep in mid-roar. My alarm clock woke me as it was just getting light, and I stepped into the ensuite shower, only to find the water was stone cold. After washing my face and getting dressed, I opened my wooden door very cautiously and peeped out as it was still the half light of winter dawn. All around my hut, including right up to the doorstep, were huge lion pug marks deep in the sand. There was a couple of other spoor as well, hyena and what could have been a black-backed jackal, as I'd seen a couple of them trotting about their business just outside the camp on the way back from the airstrip. I reported to the office and told Fred that my water was cold. "Oh, the gas cylinder needs changing. I'll get that done for you today," he explained. And then we set about checking through the incoming guest register to see who was arriving. There was a big whiteboard where we wrote the name of the aircraft, the type of arrival, the time of arrival, and the names and numbers of guests coming in. These were radioed up from Maun head office, who did all the bookings. I discovered an ancient computer with a dot matrix printer at a desk which nobody used. Both Fred and Mark were computer illiterate, so I appropriated the desk for myself, and then I began my diary. That's all for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. There's lots more to come. I want to thank John Muslane for being what I call my sound engineer. I can't do this without him. I also want to thank Sean van Vuren for helping me in enormous ways by uploading my videos to the YouTube channel. And I do have a YouTube channel. If you look for White Zulu, you'll find it. Ignore the White Zulu, as that's Johnny Clegg's name. But you will find me. I do put out new, every time we make new videos and put them up, I do tell as many people as I can, and you will get notifications in your mailbox anyway. I also have a website, www.whitezulubook.com, which is the entire book. But in this case, I didn't get Okavango Diary published in any way because I didn't have the money. It's very expensive to self-publish. It's only the so-called celebrities who get book advances and sell their books, but mine didn't sell. I sold a few White Zulu, but no, the rest of them are only on video. Maybe some kind soul will find a way to get them to a Hollywood agent or any agent and offer it as a book, as a movie, as I believe that it would do the thing, be a very good one. And that's it. I'll do another one for you. We do them every Fridays, every Wednesdays. And please enjoy them. And any feedback you want to give me, I'd be most appreciative. Thank you to all of you for listening, and goodbye. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to my videos and my stories of my life. And I want to thank John Moslane for being what I call the sound engineer, but I'm sure there's a more professional word for it. However, faithful, and for 4 years now, I think, he has been here for me every Wednesday. Well, I think it's Wednesdays, but once a week to record 2 chapters of whichever book it is I'm reading. And without him, this couldn't be done. So a big thank you to John. Also, Sean van Vuren, we send the videos to him. Sorry, I'm not reading this. I'm just doing it off the cuff. And my brain is a bit Jumaka. And Sean uploads them to the YouTube channel where you can find them all in playlists. He does it beautifully. And I want to thank them both for all the help that they give me. Well, it's not help. They do everything for me. And it's a great asset. So also, I have a website called whitezulubook.com, obviously www in front of it, but you'll find it there. Quite easy to find. Johnny Clegg's called The White Zulu. Mine's called White Zulu. And you will find on my website, you'll find all kinds of photographs going way back to when my ancestors settled in the Cape, 1652. Well, not photographs of them, but descriptions. This photograph of my grandmother's wedding, and lovely, lovely photos of the farm we still own. My sister sent me a photograph this morning of the farm in midsummer, and she says how beautiful it's looking. I've had a lot of rain. So, just want to thank my helpers, John and Sean, to thank you all for listening, and also please share this with everybody else. Hit the like button and enjoy. Goodbye.